Hi everyone. So picking up, I started, doing, like I said, the online trainings. I started to actually set up coaching sessions because up to that point, I had been told to be a life coach like 8 years ago, 7, and I had this notion of image and what that meant and what that should look like, and I was like, no, I can't be. Then about 3 years ago, I was with a friend that's in a really great position, and she's surrounded by very educated and well-to-do people, and she was telling me, because I used to just coach her, but not coach her. It was just like getting together when something would come up. She'd say, oh, could we meet for lunch or things like that. And it's somebody I admire a lot. She's very accomplished in her life, like in a big way. And so we would meet up. However, in these lunches, we'd go over the things that she was still, as much achievement and accomplishment as she has, she was very unhappy. And we started kind of breaking things down, and so she could gain clarity. And she told me she always wanted to pay me more than my lunch. Like, she wanted to pay for my time, and I was like, no, it's okay. Like, I didn't see myself as doing anything else but just like talking. That's what I thought, that's all I'm doing. And in doing that, she started to tell me, because she knew that my financial situation back then, actually, when we would do this, I was very okay, but she saw that I should be way more okay, right? And she started telling me, you really should consider creating coaching packages. And I was telling her, oh no, I can't be a coach. Like, I need to get this, and I need to get, things grounded and a lot more centered and a lot more in the right direction. And she laughed and she was like, you are one of the most grounded, if anything, I would say the most grounded person I know in my whole circle. And her circle is, actually, there's a lot of pastors in her vicinity, a lot of accomplished business people. And I just looked at her and smiled. And I remember going home and being like, what? And there was a part of me that knew that to be true, but still my ego, I just, from my own raising and things that I've experienced, I just couldn't bring myself to believe that. A couple months later, I did a special event for my best friend. He used to coach me, and he actually was a professional life coach. And he taught me so much for a long time. And we hadn't been around each other in about 1.5 years, and we were catching up, and he was telling me, how are you doing? And I was sharing with him like how what this education is called, landmark education, does for people over the period of 3 or 4 days, and you spend over $1,000 between your transportation and stuff, and you're there from 8 a.m. to midnight. How I'm able to have those breakthroughs with people in like 20-30 minutes. And he's like, wow, that's amazing. He's like, how much are you charging? And I was like, charging? Like, no, I'm not, I'm not Landmark. And he's like, it doesn't matter. Is it taking your time? And I'm like, well, yeah. And actually, it had been to the point, it was taking my time. There was always somebody that wanted to do lunch or breakfast or dinner, or can we meet at Starbucks, because they wanted to pick my brain. And it actually had started to become a little bit, as much as I love and I got so much from feeling that reward, it started to become a challenge because I wasn't seeing my kids, because I was still working full time at the studio Body Rituals, and then any of my free time I was out having somebody over my house. We'd go to the pool, or I'd go meet them at Starbucks, and so I wasn't seeing my kids. So it had started to nudge on me that I needed to, like, but how do you say I'm not going to help people, right? So it was challenging. But he has always been a very pragmatic person, and so he says, you have to charge. And I'm like, but I'm not a professional. He's like, Raquel, there is no life coach accreditation national. All the coaches you see, it's either by experience, and some are great, and some are amazing, and some are not okay, and some are just, they got a certificate online. And I was just like, okay. He says, And he always credited me to helping him, even though like he was my coach. And in that moment, he made me realize that he was right. He says, it's not going to be sustainable. You're going to end up not being able to do this, and it would be you stealing from the world, because it's not going to be sustainable for you to do this for free. You're going to suffer. And sure enough, that kind of started to happen because I started neglecting my personal business. So at that time, I decided to start charging, and that's a month after seeing him is when I started my first online coursing, and it was through Charge, and it was amazing. Well, then fast forward a couple months later, I had downsized my studio because I was the main instructor, and even though I shortly got instructors after that, I had downsized, and the owner put a for lease sign over my studio, and I didn't realize it at the beginning. We had the holidays. Sometimes holidays are slow. Then we started the year. It was a slow start. No big deal. I'm thinking, okay, some years are slow to start. But then I started having very important people in my circle pass away. I mean, like, it's traumatic, where I was in one particular one, I was doing everything for the family. I was setting up the burial, all the details. And so it took me about 5 months after, between the holidays, thinking it was just a slow start, and then the deaths that were happening around me, literally 7 deaths in that year, 3 of them very close, that I sat down. I'm like, what is going on? I sat down because at this time I'm not being able to even pay my rent, because I'm not doing anything over here, and I'm not making the money I can make at the studio. I've lost, when I did the numbers, I lost 70% of my business. So I start questioning what is going on. I start making calls, come to find out, and the community, I know other yoga instructors and other businesses, they're like, yeah, I thought you were closed. And they know me. And so losing 70% of my business, I had to let go of my home. I mean, unless I wanted to end up with an eviction, I was going to lose it anyways, right? So I might as well move out of it, in good standing. That's how I gained my confidence. I ended up having to let go of my home. I had no money to go anywhere or to pay like a big sum. We went to a hotel. We put everything in storage. I'm still running the studio at this time. This is last year, mid-March. And I put all my stuff in storage. We're in a hotel. One of my people from the studio says, where are you staying? Oh no, my husband's away for 3 weeks. You come to us with 3 weeks. Then somebody else, when her husband was coming home, somebody says, well, come stay with me. And so then we stayed at another person's house for 3 weeks. Can you guys imagine what that does to the ego, the human spirit? That here you are, a person that leads and empowers every day through yoga and fitness, and I don't even have a roof over my head. Then after that second, a person said, come, you don't have to be moving around every 3 weeks, just stay with me. I don't want you to pay me anything for a couple of months. Get yourself on your feet. I've been there a year and 4 months. We're actually taking it over now, currently, to be on our own as of August 1st. You guys, after working so hard, having been able to move, no co-signers, on my own credit, being able to establish myself to live in one of the best areas of Uplands, luxury homes, being able to get my car, not co-sign, on my own. I mean, life was looking great, and then this happens, and it was one of the biggest gifts. I learned so much, and I could have resisted it, and I could have been upset. And my kids, even when because there was days where I did feel depressed. I felt like a fraud. Like, how can people come to the studio? How can I meet with people and have them? And in this time, I'm helping people heal that have been raised in cults, people who have been molested since they were 2 on a daily basis till they were 15. I mean, I am like having huge breakthroughs with people, and I don't even have my own roof over my head. The humbling, talk about when the what do they call that? I forget the saying, when the rubber meets the road. Like, I had to get so real with myself. And the biggest gift that came from that is I had to understand that the value of me is not attached if I have a roof over my head, if I own the roof that's over my head, if I co-lease, if I co-rent, if I live under a bridge. It was the biggest gifts, you guys. Because confidence, love, empowerment, peace, it can never be attained by anything. And to believe that it is so is to create a sense of falsehood of who we are. That we would create our image based on our weight, if we can walk, if we don't walk. One of my favorite inspires is Nick Vujicic. He has no limbs, no arms, no legs. I mean, you guys, that's how I felt. I felt like in that year, my legs and my arms were taken away. It felt so like, how could I be leading? And I half the time when I was teaching, I was in the parking lot, and I'm being over here empowering, and it was true, because I know how to go there. That place lives in me. I've been a fighter before. But I'm kind of looking at my eye, gosh, I hope a tow truck doesn't pull up and take my car. You guys, biggest gift. Biggest gift. Because of that experience of last year, I got confidence and appreciation and self-love that is not derived from anything else. Now, I'm not telling you that you need to go through that to get there. That's what this course is for. We don't need anyone going through that. But the things that are happening today, I understand. I got so many emails. One email was like, help me. Like, you know, because they feel like stuck in it. There's so much came up. I got a cool email. Another one said, from the last 3 days that we've been doing, the awareness that came as to why they want to lose weight, they were like, whoa, they were blown away with the real reason behind it. And, you know, I like when they say, I didn't see that coming. That's the same thing. One thing I understand from everything that has happened is everything is happening for us, not to us. Everything is happening for us, not to us. So this is the longest video. I will pick up again, but I just want you to kind of, no real homework except just reflect. Just reflect. Where do you derive your confidence from? Where are you putting your value? Is it outside of you? Is it attached to something? Then that's not true love. That's not true confidence. That's not true value. That's not true worthiness. And I'm not saying that from a critical. I'm saying it from, I want you to be free. I want you to be empowered. I want you to feel. And I mean, even when last year some of the days were hard, at the end of the day, I always look back and I was like, I'm in a pretty cool place that I could be so broken and I can build so many people around me. I must not be that broken. And that's the thing. In truth, we are not broken. We have this fixation trying to fix ourselves. So I really look forward to tomorrow's video. But today, reflect on a little bit. Where are you deriving your value, your worth, your confidence, your self-love? Guys, have a beautiful day.